Here's your feel-good story of the day. A Scotsman has been inspired by Nelson Mandela's words of wisdom. He's learned that if you show respect, you get respect. And he's teaching what he's learned in a different language. Joining us from our Cape Town studios is Xhosa-speaking Scot, Len Keating. Len, thank you very much for coming into the studio. What got you interested in Xhosa in the first place?
Well, Joanne, I'm actually a businessman, and more recently, or laterally rather, I've moved into mentoring and helping younger people with their business issues. And I was approached by a young Xhosa builder in Hout Bay, where I live, who wanted to land a contract to build houses in the local informal settlement. So I helped him, and he asked me if I would then stay on and help him run the plan through. And I sat at meetings, and I was severely disadvantaged because they would start politely in English and then move pretty rapidly into Xhosa. So I had two choices: either ask them all to speak English or to make the move. And I had already been inspired many years ago by a saying by Tata Mandela, where he said, speak to a man in a language that he understands and you speak to his head, talk to him in his own language and you speak to his heart. So I made the effort to start learning, and within a relatively short period of time, through a method my late father taught me, I was able to get into conversational Xhosa, and it kind of grew from there.
Well, you bring me to an interesting point. Just how difficult, as an English speaker, was it for you to learn how to speak Xhosa?
Well, I think the problem for anyone learning Xhosa, or any other Nguni dialect for that matter, is that they differ quite radically in structure and sound from anything that's European-based. So the traditional method of teaching people, which is to teach vocabulary by rote, these sort of umama, udada, usisi, ubuti, that type of thing, doesn't work. You've got to teach people how to think in the language. And once they are able to think in the language, then they acquire vocabulary that's relevant to what they need, and they get the skills and they get the confidence much more rapidly.
Len,
there are
I'm going to come in here.
And you can't simply do it by... Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to come in here because I think a number of our viewers would be interested to hear how you've managed to get your tongue, besides your head, around this language. And I saw you give Tanya Neft a crash course there. Would you mind just giving me one of those, please?
But first of all, let me say in Xhosa what Tata Mandela said. He said, "Kau tete nom tu golwime aluvayo, usa ku kondo yake, kodwa kau tete nae golwime luakolen kobe, uchokui gapagate entliz the weni yake." Now, the click issue is relatively simple because, although you don't know it, you've been using the clicks all your life, Joanne. Have you ever said to someone, have you ever done that?
Frequently.
Well, that's the letter C. When you were a little girl, did you have a horsey you rode around knocking your parents' furniture over, where you went...
Yes, without a doubt. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the letter X. And when you played knock-knock, you went... That's the letter Q. Now, all you've got to do is get people to be confident enough to put those along with the vowels that follow them. So you get clack, clack, click, clock, cluck, clack, clack, click, clock, cluck, clack, clack, click, clock, cluck. It's not really difficult once you can master it.
Okay, I'm not sure I'm going to try, but Len, what made you want to actually just go a step further and teach this rather than just speak it?
I have a very deep belief in the value of respect, Joanne, and respect drives my personal set of values, and respect drives nations' sets of values. And respect for another person, his language, his culture, shown simply by doing nothing more than saying molo or goeiemorgen or assalamu alaikum, actually breaks down so many barriers that we get a result that is totally disproportionate to what we've done. And this launch in Hout Bay, we've called it Bonisi Mbeko Fumani Mbeko, which means show respect, you gain respect. And in Afrikaans, we teach it in Afrikaans, toon respect en word gerespecteer. We have a big Congolese community there. We're going with montre du respect, c'est gagner la confiance. We also have a big Zimbabwean community, and they would say, "Retizo mekedzo, uma nere mekedzwe." So we're going to go at it. It's not about Len Keating. It's about the Hout Bay community driving respect through language from Hout Bay to the peninsula, to the Western Cape, and right throughout the rest of South Africa. That's our goal here, Joanne.
Len Keating, that's a great lesson ahead of Mandela Day. Thank you very much for sharing it with us.
News that moves. eNCA.com.